Hi guys, guess what? It is your last exam. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about Module 7 and what you need to expect. In this particular test, there will be some outside sources again that you're going to need, so I'll discuss that when we get to that section. In the beginning, you are going to have a little bit of vocab again, so you're going to have a matching, and then you'll have some of your normal fill in the blank and true or false in regards to some of your vocabulary throughout the sections. A couple of the sections are pretty heavy in vocab in regards to knowing some of the different hormones, knowing some of the whole first matching section is going to be about the medical conditions, I'm going to say, because some of them are illnesses, some of them are, so I'm just going to say medical conditions, and all of your matching will be based on some of the medical conditions that they mentioned throughout for the different stages. And then, like I said, you're going to have some of your normal fill in a term or true and false about some of the other terminology throughout the chapter. So that's not going to be anything new or different. And then you'll get into your longer essay questions. I believe this time it has 26 questions. You are going to have to, from the first section to the last section, one of the big parts of what you're going to have to do is in each category. So for people who are trying to get pregnant, to someone who is currently pregnant, to an infant, to a child, to an adolescent, to an older adult, you're going to have to go in and pick out one important piece of information about each category that it discusses. So in each one of those sections, you're going to see it talks about your calories. So you're going to have to say something about the calories. It then talks about carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And so then you're going to have to say something about that for that particular age group. Okay. And then it talks about your vitamins, minerals, and water. So there's going to be 3 different things that you need to have some type of important fact, important concept. It's right in your book, so that's going to be the easiest way to find it because they're sectioned out like that for each of those particular areas. So that is a good chunk of points. I want to say that question itself is almost 20 points. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's going to be a big part of it. In your prenatal section, I think mostly you're going to have your terminology. You're going to have the, like some of the vocab stuff, and you're going to have that, calories, vitamins topic. When you get into your other essay questions, I want to say the first one you're going to have to talk about is one of the diet and health issues in pregnancy. So you are going to have to pick one. I list them all there. If you go in your book, they're listed. They're in orange. You got the nausea, vomiting, constipation, and heartburn. You have pica, gestational diabetes, alcohol and fetal alcohol syndrome, preeclampsia, and then the fish and methylmercury. And I think that's the last choice. And you're going to have to pick one of those, and you're going to have to discuss it in as much detail as possible. You do have to have an outside source, and you do have to make sure that I can tell which information you pulled from the outside source versus just your general knowledge versus what maybe you read or picked out of the book. Okay, I am telling you that ahead of time because I expect those answers to be well developed and that you are not researching them while you're trying to take your test. Okay, so keep that in mind. I believe the next big topic you're going to have to talk about is you are going to have to discuss the but the concept of breastfeeding versus formula. And, what obviously a lot of people are supportive of breastfeeding, and there's a lot of research that supports the benefits of it. So I want you to find some of that, obviously, but then also kind of discuss why some people might choose not to or what some of those issues might be. And then this again also requires an outside source. So again, I'm telling you ahead of time so that you can go in and try to develop a little bit better of an answer coming into the exam so that you are not researching as you are going. So make sure you're well versed on some information about breastfeeding versus formula, and that you have some information that you've pulled from an outside source on top of what you're bringing in from your book, and make sure that you can do that accordingly. Okay. The next big topic that I ask you about is, what else did I ask you guys about? Let's see. I put in an essay question in childhood about obesity, nutrition in general, but I specifically ask you to discuss childhood obesity in the United States, also in other countries. So I want you to be able to kind of compare and contrast those a little bit. I also want you to address malnutrition globally, so here and other places. And that is going to be your big final essay question. So you're going to need to have for that at least 2 outside sources. And again, be able to dictate which information is coming from where, from which source, was that from your book, things like that. That's the highest points for your essay question. But all 3 of those essay questions are going to be a good chunk of your grade. So make sure that you are kind of developing those thoroughly. Other than that, let's see. That's really it. Those are the big things. So again, you'll have your matching. That's going to be your medical conditions, making sure you can tell those apart. You're going to have some of your vocab that's throughout the whole module, and some different fill-ins and some true and false questions. Okay, you are going to have the big question that discusses each level or each age level and those nutritional requirements for things like calories, things like your carbohydrates, fats, things like your vitamins and minerals and water. And then your essay question on breastfeeding, your essay question on some of the health issues during pregnancy, and your essay question on the childhood nutrition and obesity and malnutrition globally, so that you guys can do some research on that. So that's pretty much it, and that's going to wrap up you guys' exams. So the next video I probably will make you will be just a verbal description of your project, although I will post your project on Canvas in written format. I probably will also do a video so that you guys can kind of get a good understanding of what's going to be expected in that project. Hopefully you all picked your topic last night in your discussion like you were supposed to. And then you will also notice for the test I left it open till Monday night because we begin Thanksgiving break, and I just figured if you needed an extra day, I gave an extra day. So if you guys have any questions, like always, send me a remind app or email me. And good luck on your last test.